Once upon a time, in a small village nestled by the banks of a clear flowing river in Vietnam, there lived a young girl named Tam. She was gentle, kind-hearted, and known for her beauty, both inside and out. Her parents had passed away when she was just a little girl, and she had been taken in by her stepmother, who was cruel and wicked. Her stepmother had a daughter of her own, Cam, who was far from kind-hearted and was spoiled by her mother. Tam was forced to do all the hard work in the household. She swept the floors, washed the dishes, prepared the meals, and tended to the fields. Cam, on the other hand, did nothing but sit idly, enjoying the comforts of the house. The stepmother favored her daughter, and Tam was often made to feel like an outsider in her own home. However, Tam never complained and always remained kind, doing everything with a smile on her face. One day, the king announced a grand festival to celebrate the harvest season. The king, eager to find a beautiful maiden to become his wife, ordered that all the young women in the kingdom be invited to the royal palace. The news of the festival spread like wildfire, and all the girls in the village were excited to attend. Tam too longed to go, but her stepmother forbade it. She told Tam that there were too many chores to do and that she had no time to attend a festival. She then sent Tam to the field to gather rice while she and Cam prepared for the event. But fate had a different plan for Tam. As she worked in the fields, she noticed a beautiful fish caught in a net. The fish was struggling to break free, and Tam, feeling sympathy for the creature, gently freed it and allowed it to return to the river. To her surprise, the fish spoke to her in a gentle voice, saying, "Thank you for saving me, kind girl. I will grant you one wish. Ask for anything you desire." Tam, ever modest, did not wish for riches or fame. Instead, she simply asked, "I wish to be able to attend the royal festival and see the king." The fish smiled warmly and said, "Your wish shall be granted." It swam away, leaving Tam in wonder. Moments later, a magical transformation occurred. A beautiful gown, made of shimmering silk, appeared on her, and delicate golden sandals appeared at her feet. Tam's appearance was transformed, and she looked more radiant than ever. Her heart filled with joy as she realized she could now attend the festival. But there was a condition. The fish warned, "You must return before midnight, or all the magic will disappear." Tam promised to heed the advice, and with a heart full of hope, she made her way to the palace. As Tam entered the royal palace, she was a vision of grace and beauty. Everyone at the festival turned to gaze at her, but it was the king who was most captivated by her presence. He approached her, and they exchanged a few words. Tam was shy, but the king's warm smile made her feel at ease. They danced together, and the king marveled at her elegance. Tam felt happy, as this was the first time she had been treated with such kindness. However, as the night wore on, Tam remembered the fish's warning and realized that midnight was fast approaching. She excused herself from the king and ran out of the palace, her heart racing with fear. In her haste, she lost one of her golden sandals on the palace steps. Tam did not stop to look back, and by the time the king realized she had left, it was too late. She had vanished into the night, leaving behind only the single golden sandal. The king, determined to find the owner of the sandal, ordered his servants to search the kingdom. The royal proclamation was clear. The owner of the golden sandal would become his bride. The search was long and exhaustive, but no one could fit the sandal. Cam, eager to marry the king, tried on the sandal, but it did not fit. She was disappointed, but she had no choice but to watch as the servants continued their search. Finally, the servants arrived at Tam's house. When Tam tried on the sandal, it fit perfectly, as if it had been made just for her. The servants were overjoyed and immediately took her to the palace. The king, upon seeing her again, was filled with happiness. He recognized her as the beautiful maiden he had danced with at the festival. Tam's stepmother and Cam were furious, but they had no choice but to accept Tam's newfound happiness. The wedding was a grand celebration, and Tam was crowned queen. But the stepmother and Cam could not forget their jealousy and resentment. They plotted against Tam, hoping to bring her downfall. In the royal palace, Tam was treated with the utmost respect and kindness, but her happiness was soon overshadowed by the schemes of her stepmother and Cam. The stepmother, knowing that Tam was a gentle and forgiving person, sent Cam to the palace under the guise of delivering a gift. She secretly hoped that Cam would find a way to harm Tam. One day Cam arrived at the palace and offered a gift of fruit to the queen, but the fruit was poisoned, and when Tam bit into it, she fell ill. Her health quickly deteriorated, and the king was heartbroken. He searched the kingdom for a cure, but nothing seemed to work. In her last moments, Tam called out to the fish, who had once granted her wish. Asking for help, the fish, hearing her call, appeared before her once again. It granted her one final wish, to be reborn. Tam's soul left her body, and she was reborn as a beautiful bird. She flew away from the palace and disappeared into the sky, leaving the king and the court in sorrow. Cam, unaware of Tam's transformation, celebrated her victory, believing that she had finally rid herself of her rival. But as the years passed, the king began to hear stories of a mysterious bird that sang sweetly and reminded him of his lost queen. He knew in his heart that it was Tam, and he set out on a journey to find her. When he finally did, the bird spoke to him in the same voice Tam had once used, and the king knew for sure that his beloved Tam had returned. The bird led him back to the palace, where Tam was reincarnated once again as a woman. This time the king vowed to never let her go, and together they lived happily ever after. But as for Cam and her stepmother, they were punished for their evil deeds. They were never seen again, and the kingdom was finally at peace.